guys, what's up? This is video 3 of the day when I just don't know what the fuck happened while I was doing my makeup. Now, you may notice that I decided to do this video topless. That's because today, we're gonna talk about boobs. Specifically my boobs, which are kind of off camera right now, but as you can see from just a moment ago, are kind of starting to come along. Okay, so I've been on hormone replacement therapy for about 3.5 months at this point. I've been taking estradiol as well as Spiro, which is a testosterone blocker. Obviously, my boobs still have like a lot of developing to do, so we're probably going to have another video like this at some point in the future. But I want to take a moment, since, you know, we're kind of getting close to reaching some milestones here, to talk to you about them. And by them, I mean just boobs in general, but especially for trans women who are undergoing hormone replacement therapy. So things kind of started out fairly quickly, I guess you could say. I've always really had a very flat chest, like kind of see my ribs through it, not much muscle or fat or anything going on there. And like really kind of by the end of the first week, I was starting to see that like there was a little bit of something different, not much at all. There's another video that talks a little bit about that. I think that was more just like a little bit of fat redistribution. I honestly don't know all the science of what exactly was going on in that moment, because honestly it was a bit soon to really be expecting to notice too much of anything, but it wasn't anything to write home about either, obviously. That being said, after a couple of weeks I started to definitely experience the joys of nipple pain. Nipple pain is the herald of breast tissue growth, and it's terrible. Like literally, let's get serious for a second here. I have taken hits to my genitals before, and I would definitely say that if the skin down there were made of whatever nipples are made out of while your breast tissue is growing, it would hurt a lot more. Like, you know, I really started to notice how many times in a day things brush up against my nipples or they end up with pressure on them. It's really, God, it was awful. It was there solid for like a few weeks, and then it kind of started coming and going. And that kind of goes along really with the way boobs grow. It happens in spurts. It's not all at once. It's like you'll get some growth for a while, and then they'll just do nothing for a while, and then you'll get like a crazy amount of growth over like 2 days and just be like, whoa, these things are like bigger than they were. As for mine personally, I'm like right now like an inch shy of being like a 36A. And obviously, due to regulations on this website, my boobs are off camera in this video, to many of your great disappointment, I'm sure. But I'm not at all shy about them. I mean, I'm a feminist, I'm all for top freedom, and they're just, you know, breast tissue and nipple, we all have it. Obviously, since I am an independent model, there are definitely places where you can go online, which are not hard to find at all, like, you know, my Instagram or my Tumblr, or even sometimes my Facebook, where you can, you know, see those if you are so inclined. Anyway, that's not the point. Point being, you know, obviously I'm a feminist, I'm a slut, I'm very much about top freedom. And so it's not really a big deal for me to be topless around people, and I was actually with my photographer setting up for a shoot the other day, and it made me so happy. She made the comment as she looks over while I'm changing and says, you know, I didn't want to be pervy or anything, but like, your boobs are really nice. And yes, if you're watching, you absolutely made my day with that. I didn't feel like it was pervy at all. So I mean, like, a little bit less than an A cup, it really doesn't sound that impressive, but I mean, it's like this close to an A cup. It makes me so super excited. Now, when it comes to bras, a lot of times, you know, when I was wearing bras, it was really like kind of a security blanket, you know, for me to be able to put stuff in and feel like it's like, these are my boobs. For the most part nowadays, I just don't wear bras. I've got my own boobs now, and they're not quite big enough for a bra yet. They'll get there soon, but it's something that's no longer necessary. I don't really need that whole security blanket anymore, since, you know, they're there. The only time I really do, or at least would, still wear a bra would be for exercise, which I haven't done in a very long time, because I'm just like, you know, lazy, I guess. But that would definitely be a situation where I would wear a sports bra even now, just because of the fact that it's like, these things are small, but it's like, they've got weight. They're heavy. It's really weird. Like, you would think, you know, having been someone who has felt people's breasts before in my life, that it's like, you know, I would have a gauge for about how heavy to expect a breast to be. Quite the opposite. You may think you know if you've had experience with other people's boobs, but like, until you have your own, you have no idea how much heavier they are for whatever size they are than you would think they would be. That being said, it gives them like a nice little bounce, and it's like, yeah, it makes me happy, like if I'm listening to music jamming out or something like that, it's like I can feel my boobs bouncing out. I'm like, yeah. I'm sure that would probably be nothing if not just like super annoying if they were like sizable or anything, but it's like for right now, it's just, it it feels nice. Not in like a sexual way or anything, it's just really comforting. I feel like that's a lot of just kind of what goes with everything. Obviously, you know, there's this huge misconception from society that we go through the processes that we go through in order to like sexualize ourselves, or that it's all part of some fetish or something, when the reality is, you know, we're a lot of us experiencing very intense dysphoria that just everything about our bodies feels wrong. You know, like, in our cases, a lot of times we like stuff that shouldn't be there, or I guess for trans men, and some trans men have told me that they feel like they're missing something, or just like that things aren't right. And, you know, we get the whole, it's like the missing thing too. It's like these were definitely missing. And now that they're here, it's like, oh god, finally, this feels right. You may notice I definitely, I grab my boobs because I can. I mean, obviously, yes, they can definitely feel very nice in sexual ways too. Everything there is very sensitive, and sometimes it's very painful, but when it's not painful and someone is, you know, doing the right things, it's like, yeah, that feels really good. But for the most part, it's just like, they're my little friends, and I'm so happy they're there. I'll probably literally like give them a hug when they're big enough to. So let's pause for a moment and we'll talk a little bit more about development, because I think there were a couple of things I was going to go over that I didn't quite get around to while I was talking about that. So when you're first starting to see real development, obviously, like I said, nipple pain is going to be the first thing you're going to notice. While that's going on, your nipples are pretty much going to constantly be hard. Now, over time, they'll actually form what I've heard a lot of other women refer to as a knot, which is breast tissue. It's just kind of this like hard lump area of breast tissue underneath the areola, and kind of it extends a little bit beyond it. But one other thing you will notice while this is going on is that your nipples and your areolas will kind of also start to grow. The skin texture changes a lot. It definitely gets a lot smoother. And then over time, as that knot is kind of developing, it does eventually get to a point where it like just kind of starts to blend in with like the rest of everything else texturally. So for a while, it's really noticeable. It's just kind of this hard thing that's right there, but then at some point, everything just kind of, there's a smooth transition from that breast tissue to the rest of the breast tissue and boob and fat and everything that's going on. Breast tissue is definitely, it seems like it develops more noticeably than the fat deposition does. I will go ahead and say it's like the area where you can see is breast tissue on me does project a little bit more from the surrounding area where the fatty tissue is. I don't know if that's just the way my boobs are, or if they're ever going to like change one day and be a little bit smoother as far as that is. But that's kind of like the first thing, and after that it's like, you know, whatever size your breasts are going to be kind of comes a little bit after that. And I have been told by a lot of people that, like, I've spoken to my boobs about other trans women who have been on hormone therapy for, you know, lengths of time, that apparently my boobs are growing very quickly compared with other transgender women, and I will not complain about that. You know, you can see here I can already make, like, a little bit of cleavage, which is kind of awesome, but I wouldn't mind being, like, a little bit bustier one day without having to, like, go to a surgeon in order to end up with breasts the size that I kind of would like. I actually kind of made that little segue on purpose because I want to talk to you a little bit about body positivity. Now, obviously with my boobs coming in so quickly, talking to some of the other transgender women I have who have informed me of this, I have gotten a little bit jealousy from that. You know, nothing like vicious or ridiculous or anything, but just like, I'm so jealous, you know, and things like that. It's like, honestly, one, I don't think anything of it. You know, okay, well that's a lie. I'm kind of really happy about them. But at the same time, it's like, I don't really hold it as something that makes me like better or more attractive or luckier. I mean, for another thing, it's like, you know, everyone develops differently. Mine could have gotten to this size and just, you know, stay this way for all of forever, while other people are like, not here yet, but are going to just kind of keep going. And then on top of it, it's like, boobs are boobs, and all boobs are good boobs. It doesn't matter if they're big or tiny or round or pointy or saggy or perky or whatever. Boobs are boobs. All boobs are good boobs. That includes whether or not they're natural or you have implants. You know, do what you do to be happy with your body. That's one of the main things I'm always on about, is like, you know, don't rag on people for tiny boobs. Don't rag on people for natural boobs or unnatural boobs. You know, it's just, they're boobs, people. You can have nipples in difficult places or weird places. You can have huge areolas or tiny areolas, or huge nipples or tiny nipples. Obviously, there's going to be, like, you know, some things certain people find more aesthetically pleasing in a boob than other people do, but, you know, who gives a fuck? Not to mention that it's like all those things are like, you know, it's not universal. What everyone likes about everything about people's bodies is going to be different. And in the end, it shouldn't even matter. I mean, society makes it matter, which is a problem, but you know what I'm saying. Just, that's my little body positivity for the day. I'll probably go more in depth with that in another video. But this one's about boobs. That being said, I'm gonna take a moment here because boobs are awesome. Boobs are great. You know, I'm not gonna deny it. Boobs are wonderful. But like, we really sexualize these things, don't we? They're not sexual organs, and it's just like we all have them. And I mean, boobs are awesome. Boobs are great, spectacular, wonderful things. I feel like some of the pudding that you can find the proof in for that is one of my other videos. I think it was week 6. It was like week 6 or 8 or something like that. I think it was week 6 HRT update, where I went and posted it, and I titled it "Boobs" parentheses week 6 HRT update, and oh my god. That video has over 6,000 views. I know that's not a lot in YouTube speak, but like where most of my videos end up by this point having like somewhere between like 50 and 2,000 views, this one has over 6,000, and I really feel like it's just because the word boobs is in the title. I mean, I have other much more interesting videos, other much more important videos, but this one just, like, it takes the cake. I really feel like something similar is probably going to happen with this video. I mean, you know, woo, boobs, topless, yay. And I mean, this is really kind of, in addition to being an informative video, also an experiment of mine, because based on that, I want to see how many views this video ends up getting compared to everything else, just because of the fact that it has boobs in the title, and it's about boobs, and starring a hot transgender woman without her top on. All joking aside, though, we over-sexualize breasts quite a bit, don't we? I mean, even, you know, being a feminist, it's difficult territory for me to tread talking about. Obviously, I think a lot of other, especially third-wave feminists, will be in complete and total agreement. Boobs can be very sexy, very hot things, just like, you know, anyone's just can be a very sexy, very hot thing. I mean, sometimes we really take it a little too far, like, you know, why do we have to wear tops everywhere we go that a man would not, you know? A lot of people don't know this, but until like sometime, I think in the 1800s, men's nipples were considered just as obscene as women, and your chests were considered to be just as obscene as ours. Now, men fought that stigma and got over it. Perfect example of male privilege, being able to win places where women can't. Okay, can't is a bad word. We can, we just haven't quite been able to yet. But I mean, seriously, not only are we constantly telling women that their boobs are obscene and have to be covered up, I mean, there's the whole issue of breastfeeding, which is like, oh my god, it's what boobs are for! And yet you have, like, you know, women being thrown out of Victoria's Secret for, breastfeeding and crap like that. Women being forced to breastfeed their children in bathrooms, which I'm sure is just, like, absolutely great for the baby's health. And I mean, it gets even more ridiculous than that. You know, there are women who, have literally been told it's like, you know, that they're not going to be hired because their boobs are too big. Women who I'm sure know that they were passed over, because, you know, their boobs were too small. We get told all the time what we can and can't wear, based on what our boobs look like and how big they are and all this other stuff, and it's just like, just, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Men of the world, our breasts are not for your enjoyment. I mean, if a woman decides that she would like for you to enjoy her breasts, that's wonderful, that's great, that's her decision, go right ahead. These are just a part of our body, they're boobs, they're here. Don't shame people for their boobs. Don't slut shame women for large breasts. Don't make fun of women with small breasts, otherwise if I'm around, I'll probably run you over, and then we can talk about who's flat. Just, you know, stop. Anyway, that's my little feminist rant for the day. Equalists and feminists, feel free to have a field day with that. And that concludes today's discussion of memories. I hope you enjoyed the music in today's episode too, because that's something that I wrote, played, and recorded. It doesn't have the vocals just yet, and the instrumentation is not complete because I'm not ready to release it yet, but I wanted to give you a little sneak peek of some of what's going to be coming up on my upcoming album, Phoenix, which I hope to release by no later than January 31st, 2016. It'll be on iTunes when it comes out, so keep your eyes peeled for it. And if you want to know how you can help make that release date a reality and keep seeing awesome episodes like this one, as well as getting awesome rewards like appearing in my credits with a cool title, getting exclusive access to weekly live streams, or even autograph prints from my modeling shoots in the mail to your door, just go to www.patreon.com/JuliaMelody to find out how you can become a patron. As always, thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, be yourself.